NBC's coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup NAPA 500 is brought to you by NAPA Auto Parts. NAPA, we keep America running. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By new Pepsi Twist. Pepsi and Diet Pepsi with a twist of lemon. And by Goodyear, reminding you to take all your journeys on the wings of Goodyear.
96,000 on hand on a beautiful Georgia day to see the NAPA 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Cars starting to roll from the speedway, and let's give you a tour around what is now the circuit's fastest track. It's Thunder Motion with BP, powered by EA Sports, NASCAR Thunder 2002.
Very, very fast speedway here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coming off turn 4 to start our run. The would-be 2001 champion, Jeff Gordon, right in front. Down in turn 1. You want to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack when the tires are cool. When they get worn, you can go up the racetrack. It's not a problem. As you see those guys in front. Give Jeff a little bumper.
Wow.
That's not good, BP.
That's not good, BP.
And I'd have people mad at me if I hit Jeff Gordon. Same thing at 3 and 4. You can go down the bottom of the racetrack, or if it gets too slippery there, move up the racetrack. It really doesn't matter. But anyway, I beat Jeff Gordon down back to the start-finish line.
EA Sports NASCAR Thunder 2002, now available in stores. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Second time this season he's the Bud Pole Award winner. 18 drivers now qualified for next February's Bud Shootout at Daytona. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as the title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. And now the Walmart starting grid for today's NAPA 500. Earnhardt Jr. looking for his 4th win of the season on the front row with Mark Martin, winless in 60 races. Dave Blaney in row 2 with Ward Burton. Blaney's best ever Winston Cup qualifying. Ward finished 3rd here last November.
Qualifying on the inside of the 3rd row is Michael Waltrip, his best Atlanta start ever, and Bill Elliott, last week's winner, on the outside. In row 4, great qualifying run for Kevin LePage, still looking for a ride for next year, and Johnny Benson.
5th row, Stacy Compton has failed to qualify for this race the last 2 years. He's in the top 10 now, and Joe Nemechek, the Rockingham winner. In row 6, Hut Strickland making his debut for Bill Davis Racing in a Dodge. 3rd effort for that team. Tony Stewart, fastest in final practice.
On the inside of row 7 is Ricky Craven. Best Atlanta finish is 12th. And Todd Bodine on the outside had a 3rd place here 7 years ago. On the inside of row 8 is Elliott Sadler. Let's try talking to Elliott. Elliott, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Yes, sir, BP, loud and clear.
When I walked through the garage here this morning, your guys said your car was very, very good. You got a heck of a chance to win.
I think we do. We made a couple changes right there at the end of happy hour. Made this Motorcraft Ford Taurus really comfortable. Man, it's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. The old B-1 bomber just flew across, got everybody fired up, so looking forward to a good day.
But Elliott, if you win, you know you won't be able to go deer hunting tomorrow, so think about that.
Oh, no, BP. We're going to go deer hunting tomorrow no matter what. We just might get there a little later, so definitely looking forward to starting deer season in the morning, but definitely want to get to victory lane like our truck driver did on Friday, winning the Truck Drivers Award. Barry Shepard. Want to say congratulations to him, and hope you'll have a good day for Motorcraft and everybody aboard this car.
Good luck, Elliott. Thanks.
Thank you, BP.
Elliott Sadler in the Wood Brothers car going to come from 15th starting spot. Continuing our look at the starting lineup, Mike Wallace and Kyle Petty back in row number 16. And look at this, Dale Jarrett qualified way back in row 17. He's never qualified outside the top 10 since the track was laid out in this manner.
And there we see his teammate, Ricky Rudd, took a provisional alongside March's winner, Kevin Harvick. Bobby Labonte, last year's champion back provisional land, and Kenny Schrader.
Labonte considered the Atlanta Master. Jerry Nadeau, defending winner of this race. Very fast in final practice. Going to be fun watching him come from row 21. And Terry Labonte brings up the rear of the field. Failed to qualify. Look at that list. Ron Hornaday, Robbie Gordon, Jason Leffler, his final ride in that 01 car. It was tough here on Friday in Bud Pole qualifying. Final stories from pit road. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Alan, 4 drivers who won in 2000 are still winless in 2001, and Terry Labonte couldn't pick a worse racetrack to try to end his losing streak that dates back to 1999. He hasn't led a lap in 39 consecutive events. They brought a brand new race car to Atlanta, hoping to go to victory lane. They qualified 43rd. New car blues. They made wholesale changes, hoping to hit upon something today and get Labonte his first career Atlanta victory. To Dave Burns.
Matt, it was announced this weekend that Jimmy Spencer will not drive this 26 car next year. He'll drive another car. But it was known a couple of weeks ago by several important people, including his crew chief, Donnie Wingo. And Donnie and Jimmy had a conversation. Donnie said to Jimmy, you know what? Now that you're leaving our team, are we going to race the rest of the season? We're just going to hang around. And Jimmy said, we are going to race. Last week, they ran in the top 10 all day. And here at Atlanta, he is not bad. His best finish is 4th, and he hopes he can take home a win before he leaves the Travis Carter Racing team. To Marty.
Well, Dave, Atlanta is not Tony Stewart's best track. In fact, his best finish is 11th in his first start here. So the team decided to test here a couple of weeks ago, and they discovered several things, including the setup underneath the car right now, and the results are amazing. They are very fast and very consistent. But Greg Zipadelli just told me, hey, we've been fast the last 5 weeks, and we don't have a win to show for it. Today, we must close the deal. To Bill Weber.
Marty, in our interview with Jeff Gordon on Friday, in which we ran in the pre-race show, he told us that he thinks fans might have gotten the wrong idea how hard their team was trying after their performance at Rockingham. It's not that they were trying hard, it's that they might have been trying too hard. He didn't want people to think they were protecting their points. Instead, they put that car on the ragged edge to try and get it into victory lane. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work out. Then they had some bad luck and a bad call last week at Homestead. But today, Gordon and this entire team has come here with one mission in mind: to win the race and then take home the championship. A moment ago, car owner Rick Hendrick jumped on the radio and said, I'm proud of everyone on this team, Jeff and everyone else. Jeff was next on the radio, thanked his car owner and his crew, and then crew chief Robbie Loomis also thanked Rick Hendrick for the opportunity to pull off what they're hoping to pull off here today. Alan?
All right, Bill, thank you. Final lap behind the pace car before we go green here in the NAPA 500. Facts and figures on the day. Going to take 325 laps around this 1.54-mile oval to make up the distance.
And racing for over $4 million. Wow.
Pit window, 55 to 65 laps. That's a little shy of 100 miles here.
And we will see the cars run all over the racetrack, because there's going to be quite a drop-off between the first few laps on these tires and lap 50 or 60. They'll slow down considerably.
And another thing that's really tricky here, VP, is this place is really tough when you're starting out with low pressures, because you're going so fast around here. The car has a lot of wiggle at these speeds until you get the tires up to the pressure. So the first few laps are pretty anxious. Until you get some heat build up in these tires, the cars are really nervous.
Jeff Gordon qualified back in 24th spot. He's in the middle of the traffic. He's going to finish 32nd or better today to claim the title this afternoon. He needs to get through and make sure there's no early incident in front of him from back in the middle of the field.
Walking through the garage here this morning, you asked the guys who's going to win. 25, Jerry Nadeau is the name that you heard most frequently, and he's starting way back near the end of the field.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mark Martin lead the field down for the start of the NAPA 500. Leads. Mark Martin slides into second. Dave Blaney is third. Ward Burton fourth. Here comes Tony Stewart. Outside of Michael Waltrip.
Trying to pass on the outside after yesterday afternoon in happy hour. He only ran on the bottom. I said he's dedicated the bottom. Obviously, that's not the case.
Dave Blaney for second on Mark Martin. Got it. Blaney led 70 laps, looked like a potential winner here in March. Had a pit road problem, took him out of a chance to win. Earnhardt Jr. leads to lap 3.
going somewhere. But I tell you, Dave Blaney, that 93 car, is also going somewhere. As we ride along with Bill Elliott and watching that battle between Ward Burton, the 22 car, and Tony Stewart.
Tony started 12th. He just took 4th from Ward Burton. Johnny Benson kind of up the hill there at the back end of that group. Looks like he lost a couple of spots in that exchange. Benson slipping back to 11th. He started 8th. There's Todd Bodine. That light blue 66 car having a good run early.
And here comes Blaney. And he's doing it in the right place, right in front of this huge crowd at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
New leader. And that's one of the lame duck brigade. Drivers that are going someplace else next season, but they're sure not scrimping on their effort here. Where's Jeff Gordon at?
16th the last time by, moved up from his 24th starting position. And Junior loses another spot as Mark gets on the inside, takes a spot away. Dave, what is said about Mark Martin in his pit?
Well, Mark may have lost a position or two at the start, but he just radioed into his crew chief, Jimmy Prenig, pretty dang good. So I think Mark's happy.
And they made some changes on that car this morning. And you know, when they throw the green flag after changing springs and shocks, there's always that wonder what's going to happen.
Bill Elliott in the 9 car. Moving up, 6th place.
And Mark Martin, something happened to Mark off turn 4. He's slow.
He wouldn't have just decided to go follow Tony Stewart, would he?
No, I think that
look at the left rear corner of his car. Does it look like something's wrinkled up there?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Now, that's why he went up the racetrack.
Wow.
He's got the back mark, got an arrow loose there, and
on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. And
I'll get back to it here.
See, Junior didn't hit him until he got a little bit loose and had to squeeze off the throttle. When Mark did that, that's when Junior ran the back of him.
So we'll put that in under nice save, Mark.
very nice save. And that's probably going to affect Mark's car a little bit, I would think, BP. I don't know what that thing's sailing out there in the left rear behind that left rear tire. We'll have to keep an eye on him.
Second place, Tony Stewart on the move again. Started 12th.
And talking to Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief on this 20 car, you could just feel the confidence that he had this morning about how well they were going to run.
But while Stewart has moved to second, he is 2.6 seconds behind Dave Blaney, the early leader in the NAPA 500 in Atlanta. Our Wendy's race menu, the final event of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series season is Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, the New Hampshire 300, presented by Behind Enemy Lines. Might be a little chilly in the old flat mile oval, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great race. Final event of the season, nothing left to do but win. And we look down on our Atlanta Motor Speedway, courtesy of the United States Army, an army of one. Dave Blaney is the leader.
But New Hampshire will be warm inside those race cars, just as it is right now.
Hasn't been all that bad up there. It's been in the 40s and some in the 50s.
Whoa!
Carl Long's in trouble. Off of turn 2.
Sit on the backtrack. Caution down.
Lap 16, first yellow of the race. Carl was running
about 29th to 30th the last time by. But there's a lot of damage to that Dodge, so
it's going to be tough.
Yes, it is.
Third start of the season for Carl. And Dave Blaney brings the field back around to the caution flags.
And Dave Blaney says, shucks. Darn it. Darn it.
take a look at what happened off turn number 2.
Well, he's right in the middle of everything right here. Well, he just lost it all by himself. He may have had not a whole lot of air on that car in that group of cars, but Hart just got away from him. I would say, I don't know, BP. I know 18 may have taken a little bit of air off him, but
Well, I think he had cars on the outside and cars behind him. Just kind of the worst situation you can get yourself in.
Harvick inside, Mike Wallace outside. Watch these close calls.
definitely got behind on his steering.
Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Okay.
From inside the Interstate Batteries Pontiac of Bobby Labonte. This ought to be interesting. Wow.
That was pretty close.
That is so close. The Goodrich Chevrolet of Kevin Harvick. And here they all come down pit road. Interesting to see how this new exit on pit road is going to work for these cars.
First stops at lap number 18. So far, everyone is pitted except Terry Labonte. Dave?
And Mark Martin decided to stay out. We'll check on that. He did say that the car was a little bit loose. Let's go to Bill Weber.
In fact, the top 3 cars stayed out, but not Jeff Gordon. When the caution came out, it goes, woo! This car is excellent. We're fast. It's 4 tires, no changers. He has 2 tire carriers, both wearing helmets. Marty?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. with 4 tires and will not win the race off pit road by a bunch. He pushes in. They fix that with air pressure. He is loose off. They fix that with track bar. To Matt.
Kevin Harvick gambled with a 2-tire strategy. He said he was loose in and tight off. They took 2 tires because he came in 30th trying to gain some track position.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see how that works. I don't know that 2 tires is going to work very well.
Everybody I talked to, BP, this morning said that the 2-tire thing wasn't really a good gamble. But we'll have to see how it works out. But times really fell off, and everybody seemed to think that they were going to need 4.
5 drivers stayed out. Dave Blaney, Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, and Lance Hooper were under caution in Atlanta.
That bull saw me coming and lay down.
See the sticker on the hood of Matt Kenseth's car? Watch the Bulls win the tools. Promotion with folks at DeWalt and NBC. November 25th, PBR World Challenge.
You know, there's a rule change there. They added 1.5 inches to Dillinger the Bull's horn, so the guys aren't too happy about that.
Dave Burns?
I can tell you what, guys, Michael Gaffney, the G-Man they call him, and all the rest of the professional bull riders are pumped up about being on live network television for the first time next week. But I know about 3,400-pound race cars. What's it like to ride a 2,000-pound bull?
Well, after seeing this for the first time ever, Dave, I'm ecstatic. I've never been much of a race car fan, but this is a total thrill for me.
And you wouldn't want to try this, would you?
I think I would. It's fit right in our game. This is pretty exciting, and seeing these fans is really kind of find out that we're growing, but this is really growth here.
What are the viewers going to see next week on the World Challenge, Michael? What's that going to be like on NBC?
Dave, it's our first time ever on network television. We formed the PBR in 1992, and that was our first goal back then, and we've grown really fast, but this is going to be a great thing for us. This has been, like I said, our goal since then, and we're just totally ecstatic for it, and it's going to be a great show. We think we have the up-and-coming NASCAR of the now, and with NBC and all our sponsors, I think it's just going to be a great show, a great family entertainment.
And Wally, Michael promised me all the bulls will be ill handling.
Yeah, I bet they will. That's a lot of fun to watch at PBA. That is really cool stuff.
New leader, Tony Stewart.
His car's not ill handling.
Jeff Gordon. It's really rolling. He's up to 10th.
10th spot.
So what was that you said at the top of the show? Well, you've said it actually the last 3 weeks. He wants to win the race. Maybe they mean it this time.
Oh, they really mean it this time. Hey, they got their game face on down in that 24 garage area and pit area.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to move by Michael Waltrip. That'd be for 5th place. So, It's Elliott fourth, Earnhardt Jr. fifth. Mark Martin's car couldn't have been damaged that badly. He's hanging right in there in third and didn't stop for tires. Dave, how about the decision not to pit there?
Well, Alan, first of all, Mark did radio in that the car was a little bit loose getting into the corners now. Jimmy Fennig, his crew chief, and Mark talked about coming in, and then they indicated that they were sort of 50-50 on it, like they might have screwed up, but they are not too bad for staying out. So right now, Mark's got what he's got, just a little bit loose getting into the corner.
And here comes Jeff Gordon. He took him 3 wide off turn 4.
Inside of Todd Bodine for 7th, looking for 6th on Michael Waltrip.
And they're going to be 3 wide off the second corner. Oh, and Michael throwing the dust. Bill, those guys got to be happy in that 24 pit.
They're thrilled, and the man that is most thrilled is their driver. Extremely pleased with the way his car is handling Benny, is convinced he can get to the front, got help on pit road, 13.98 seconds from 14th to 11th on the pit stop.
Third place, changing hands. Dale Earnhardt Jr. by Bill Elliott.
And here comes Jeff Gordon on the inside of Todd Bodine. That's 5th.
Sterling Marlin following Gordon stride for stride up through the traffic. Williams race chase, interval from Gordon in 5th up to the leader, Tony Stewart. Here's Joe Nemechek on Michael Waltrip.
Ward Burton, the 22 car, had fallen back. He was up in the top 10. He's still in 10th spot. He's fallen back to 13th to 14th. He's now working his way back towards the front.
Matt Kenseth, Ricky Craven, Joe Nemechek there. Dale Jarrett in that group also.
Mark has really slipped back there.
Sterling Marlin working on a spot there. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Blaney for 2nd. Remember, Blaney did not stop for tires under the caution.
And about right now, he's saying, shucks.
Him and Mark both.
And Tony Stewart.
This is 6th place. Sterling Marlin in the 40, Todd Bodine in the 66.
Now Tony Stewart's turn to say, aw, shucks.
New tires against old. Not much of a contest.
Well, they've all learned a lesson, that's for sure, by what they just did. Nobody's going to be doing that again.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes back to the point for the 2nd time in the race. He led the first 5 circuits. And now in lap 30, he's back out front. Here comes Bill Elliott. This is for 3rd place on Dave Blaney. Elliott gets to the front. You're going to hear a roar. It'll make these grandstands shake.
Bill Elliott, a native of Georgia. Grew up a couple hours north of Atlanta.
And he goes by Dave Blaney to get 3rd. Elliott, a 5-time winner here in Atlanta. Takes a spot from Blaney.
Jeff Gordon right now is just in the absolute perfect spot. He doesn't have to. If he gets a chance to pass these guys, he will. He got a chance to pass Bill Elliott, he will. But there's no real rush to chase these guys down. He's in the perfect spot right now.
Yeah. So Gordon to 3rd. Behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart. Early in the going in the NAPA 500 in Atlanta, you're watching NASCAR on NBC. The NAPA 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, second to last race of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series season for 2001. And looking down on this massive 1.5-mile track from the Budweiser.com airship. Brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. This spot's for you, race fans.
A battle for the 5th spot. Both these cars owned by Bill Davis. Ward Burton, the 22 car, trying to take it away from Blaney, and he will do it.
So Dave Blaney not stopping under the caution flag, having older tires than these cars that are overtaking him, causing him to slip back.
Well, someone used the comment last week, going to a gunfight with a knife. Well, that's what Blaney's got right now. He's going to a gunfight with a knife, trying to keep these guys behind him. Marty, what about the Davis guys? What are they saying?
Well, Dave Blaney was loose on the last run, and they decided not to come down pit road, as you mentioned, Benny. Now he's starting to shove the nose in the middle, which means it's pushing, and now the loose condition is even worse off the corner. Dave said it's starting to get uncomfortable. You mentioned that Ward Burton, his teammate, who has now passed him, fell back a little bit. Ward was letting his tires come in. Now that they have come in, he's moving to the front.
There's another guy moving to the front.
And BP, that high line, especially in 1 and 2, looks like it's the fastest way around here, which usually down low is better.
Jeff Gordon passed Tony Stewart for second during the commercial break a moment ago. Here he comes for the lead. Ooh.
Oh. I think Junior thought about using that high line, but wisely decided not to do that, and Jeff Gordon goes to the front.
Just past 50 miles, and Gordon puts himself to the point. Now, what that means for the championship is that now he just needs to finish 31st or better to wrap up the title today, because he's got the 5 bonus points for leading.
And Bill Elliott going by Tony Stewart, taking over the 3rd spot. And Tony Stewart got him a bug.
Yeah.
Big red bug.
Yes.
That's kind of gruesome, wasn't it?
Tell you what, Tony Stewart's hanging in. Tony Stewart is hanging in very, very well, having not pitted.
Yeah, Tony probably at the front of this thing if he would have put 4 fresh tires on.
Problem for Stewart and Blaney right now, we're coming up on lap 50. They can only go about 55 or so before they're going to have to pit. And if they don't get another caution, that could be big.
Yep. They will definitely go a lap plus down.
Ricky Craven in the 32 car is on the move. Started 13th. He's just taken 6th from Ward Burton. Martinsville winner earlier in this fall in that 32 car.
Alan, I think your batteries in your computer are getting weak again, because I think that Jeff Gordon before the race had to run 32nd or better. I think now it's about 33rd or better.
I read it out of the press release, Benny. That's all I know. I didn't do the math on that one.
I thought his computer was going down again. DJ, you know, he has started in the back, near the back, and has worked his way up to the 10th spot.
Started 33rd.
Wow, great run. Junior's hanging in there pretty tough with Jeff Gordon.
Trying to. But the would-be champion is out in front of the NAPA 500. 4th different driver to lead on the day. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Exclusively on NASCAR.
Come now to NASCAR.com and check out the Conseco NASCAR Fantasy Challenge. Pick your own team of drivers and see how you match up against other fantasy teams. Log on today and you might just win a replica of the number 14 Conseco Winston Cup Pontiac. Coming up on 50 laps, complete in the NAPA 500. Jeff Gordon is the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second. Ricky Craven has just taken 3rd from Bill Elliott.
It looks like Tony Stewart is able to keep up with Elliott, and it looks to me like he's getting a little bit closer, even though he hasn't stopped and changed tires.
All right, BP, let's straighten this out once and for all. It is 34th or better now that Gordon has led a lap.
Thank you.
Next time I'll do my own math and make sure it's right. Go ahead, Wally. I can see you biting your tongue on that one.
Yeah, the big thing is Tony Stewart, as they run right now, has moved into the 2nd spot.
Yep. Ricky Rudd is running pretty deep in the field.
He's 28.
Yep.
The 28 car is 28. Tony Stewart, meanwhile, is 5th.
But Tony's got some problems. That lap counter that just clicked over to 52, upper left of your screen, he and Dave Blaney and the other guys who did not stop are going to be coming to pit road under green very quickly.
And then all they can do is hope that the other cars don't catch that caution flag. They've got to make a green flag pit stop as well.
Stewart started the race back in the 12th position, very quickly moved through, took the lead, led for 8 laps. Now has been shuffled back by some cars with fresher tires. And within the next 2 or 3 or 4 laps, we should be seeing him come to pit road. He may get Bill Elliott for a spot first. This has been such a brutal track on Tony Stewart. Best finish here is 11th. Looking not quite. He's failed to finish the last 3 straight Atlanta races. And we're still very early today, but he's sure looking as good as he's looked. Here he comes. That's Lance Hooper in that 47. They're putting a lap down. That's an Andy Petrie Racing R&D car.
Tony Stewart goes by Elliott and takes over the 4th spot.
And he is 5.9 seconds behind leader Jeff Gordon.
Turn is really good. It's just trying to get the hook, get that middle. Just let's slide that nose a little bit too much.
Listening to Jeff Gordon's radio as we go through the field and check in on how some of the top runners are doing in the early going. Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, obviously you had Jeff Gordon doing very well. 24th to 1st. Called in a few minutes ago. Said the car's pushing just a little bit. It was tight when he went back out. Gordon 24th to the leader of the race. Marty.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. a little loose, or tied in, a little loose off. He said the car is really good, and these guys have not had a top 10 in the last 3 races. Remember, he pitted last time and made the adjustments he needed. Bill?
Another outstanding start for Ricky Craven. Can he put together another finish? Mike Beam said it's 4 tires on a very good car. Ricky Craven running 3rd. Marty?
Tony Stewart will have to pit in about 4 laps at lap 60. That's the plan right now. The car is good. They plan no adjustments. They've had 3 top 10s in the last 4 races. Behind him is Bill Elliott, who's running very well, the Homestead winner is. He was asked by his crew, how's the car? He said, I'll get back to you in a few minutes. That was 10 minutes ago. The car's running really well. Dave?
Marty, before the first round of pit stops, the car of Sterling Marlin was loose. They made a wedge adjustment. He has been all quiet since that time. Marty?
Ford Burton started loose on this run. Now it's tightened up, and he is very happy with the chassis. They want to make one adjustment to make him better on this longer run. Behind him is teammate Dave Blaney. Well, Dave?
And Matt Kenseth in the 17 car was tight. They made an air pressure adjustment. They started 23rd. He has made his way up to the 8th position now. Marty?
Oh, he started talking about Dave Blaney, then he got passed by Matt Kenseth. Go figure that. Dave, really loose. He just radioed to the crew. The car is starting to feel uncomfortable. We need to make some big adjustments on this stop. Dave?
Speaking of big adjustments, Marty, that was what they needed on the 2 car of Rusty Wallace. He was loose. They made a track bar adjustment. Now he's a little tight. I guess they made a really big adjustment. Matt?
Dave, Dale Jarrett just dropped from 10th to 11th. It feels like he's better in 3 and 4 than 1 and 2. In the final practice session, they tried to mimic Jeff Gordon's line because they liked the way Gordon's car looked up in the banking. Meanwhile, the 18 car, Bobby Labonte, a 4-time winner here in Atlanta. He had to restart back in 42nd after they had to make a second pit stop because they had a loose lug nut on the left front. Started 42nd. He's climbed up to 12th. He likes the car, just tighten traffic.
Ricky Craven going for 2nd spot. And folks, you want to see a high line? That's a high line. And takes that spot away.
Cars that are being able to use that high line are the cars out front. Jeff Gordon, the 32 car Ricky Craven, those guys are really high, especially in 1 and 2. It's working for them.
Craven started back in 13th. Runner-up position now at lap number 60. 3.2 seconds behind Jeff Gordon, the leader, is where Ricky Craven runs now. This is for 5th place. Sterling Marlin coming up on Bill Elliott. This chassis Sterling Marlin is using has never finished worse than 5th in any race that they've used it in.
I think this is the car that they won the race in Charlotte with.
That's correct.
The 40 car, talking about the 40 car, Sterling. And Mark Martin is on pit road, Dave.
Benny, Mark Martin had a great race car this weekend. He qualified second, and he was in a really good mood. But unfortunately, that contact with Jale Jr. put him in a bad mood. His car is very loose now. They're going to make a big chassis adjustment, put on 4 tires and fuel. This was about as long as they could go on a fuel run here at lap number 61. They will finish the process and send him back out on the track.
Looks like Tony Stewart's making his way on the pit road as well. And Dave Blaney tried to pit the last time, and I think missed pit road.
Meantime, this is for 4th place. Marlin gets it. Marty?
Tony Stewart comes down pit road very slowly, Alan. Remember, they are in a big battle in the points. They're trying to pass Ricky Rudd for second. Currently, Stewart is 59 points behind. The team is very cognizant of that today. He wants to know where Ricky Rudd is on the racetrack. They want to try and pass him today, so they have a margin for error at New Hampshire next week. It will be a 4-tire stop for Tony Stewart, and it will be no adjustments as Dave Blaney also comes down pit road. Stewart leads. Blaney missed pit road. You were right, Benny, last time. The car very loose for Blaney. They will make an air pressure adjustment, trying to help him out a little bit. And he said the car very uncomfortable at the end of that run.
And poor Dave Blaney, twice he had trouble getting on pit road. The first time, he just totally missed pit road, had to make another lap, and almost missed pit road the second time by. So there goes Jeff Gordon by to put Blaney, I guess, 2 laps down.
Well, I mean, the second time was weird. You didn't see it on screen, but while we were watching the Stewart pit stop, but he had the brakes locked up and the smoke boiling. It was like he wasn't getting all out of the brake pedal he was looking for.
Right, Alan. I don't understand that, because you know, if you miss it the first time, you're going to be a lot more careful coming in the second time. And he actually looks like he locked the brakes up coming in even the second time.
Let's go back and take a look at that second attempt at pit road on Dave Blaney.
See, he's already going slow. It's not, he's got a lot of front brake in that car by the looks of it. And that's maybe why he missed it the first time, BP. You got too much front brake, the car won't turn.
Well, that's exactly what he did the first time. Smoked up. Because when I looked up, I thought someone had spun when Mark Martin was on pit road. It was the same situation. The 93 car locking up those front brakes. Oh, look at Jeff. That's a high line, too. He's up there against that wall.
So Blaney and Mark Martin are both 2 laps down now by being as far behind the leader as they were when they pitted, and Blaney having his problems. Tony Stewart is 1 lap down in 39th, and hoping the rest of these guys have to come in before the yellow flag waves. Pins and needles time for Stewart and his crew.
Oh, wow. That was close.
Jr.'s not leaving a lot of room for error today. We saw that little run-in he had with Mark Martin earlier. And
well, once Blaney gets some temperature in these tires, he should be able to pass these guys and move on, and maybe get at least one of those laps back under the green here.
He's not that far behind Jeff Gordon to get one of them back. He's overtaken the second-place car there of Ricky Craven. Marty?
Well, James, Robin Barker is his crew chief, and what happened when he missed pit road, and then the second time looked like he had too much front brake in?
We possibly could. The first time he just got in a little hot and had to go all the way around. We got tires on it now. As long as we don't get a caution, we'll be fine.
All right, Robin Barker acting as the crew chief this week. Normally, Scott Wimmer's crew chief in the NASCAR Busch Series. They have done a great job all weekend. He told Dave on the radio, be very calm. You have the best car here. Take care of it. Race the racetrack.
And Jeff Gordon continues to lead, and Blaney is closing in on Jeff Gordon. But right now, both Craven and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are faster than Jeff Gordon.
There you see the gap. Gordon, Blaney, then Craven, the second-place car. Leaders all stopped at lap 18.
So they got to sweat it out for another
8-9 laps.
Yeah.
So Blaney gets one of his laps back from Jeff Gordon, but he's still back in 40th position right now. Gordon, Craven, Earnhardt Jr., Marlin, and Elliott, the leaders in the NAPA 500. New leader Ricky Craven. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have just overtaken Jeff Gordon moments ago. Benny Parsons, I'm here to pronounce to you, is semi-computer literate. Got a racing question you'd like to ask BP? Log on to NBCSports.com and leave it there for him. Of course, his wife Terry has to help him retrieve them and send the answers back, but
semi is a very good word when you talk about me and a computer.
NBCSports.com. Here's the pass for the lead. A minute ago, Ricky Craven and Dale Jr. by Jeff Gordon.
Gets on the inside, going in turn 3. And Jeff Gordon really didn't fight very, very hard because Craven's down. Look at Jeff right to the top of the track. Craven goes down the bottom. And as I said, Jeff didn't really fight that too hard.
Well, the car looks like it really got tight there in the center, and that's what he'd been complaining about earlier. He's on pit road.
4 tires, guys.
How about it, Bill? Here comes 24.
And while his car's been just a little bit tight, he could have stayed out a little longer on fuel, but they learned on the first run how good this car is, so they don't want to take any chances. This is 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment to help the car, try and prevent it from getting so tight. Gordon knows he has a good car, wants to see if he can get it to the finish line first. At the end of the race, he's on his way.
Great pit stop. Matt, 99's in.
And Jeff Burton in for his service, came in 21st, 1-rounder wedge in the left rear. He said his car was tight in the middle and loose off. They've been struggling all weekend. His biggest problem, entry to turn 3 to Bill Weber.
Ricky Rudd is on pit road. His entire pit crew wearing helmets, most of them wearing skateboard helmets. His car has not been that good early in the race. It's a track bar adjustment, then 4 tires and fuel. They've taken some guys from the Ted Busch team and got a jackman out of semi-retirement to pit the car this week.
Leader Ricky Craven is in. You see him leaving his pit stall in the 32 car. Michael Waltrip's in. Marty?
And remember, he took 2 tires last time, Alan. They picked up a very bad push. It will be 4 tires, and Slugger Labby says, I won't take 2 tires ever again. The rear tire changer kind of fell down when he came across to Dave Burns.
And the 40 car of Sterling Marlin, they said they were good. They're going to make a 4-tire change, no adjustments, and a full load of fuel for Sterling Marlin. Great pit stop, Marty.
Bill Elliott is very good, and he is in pit road. A little bit loose. They will make an air pressure adjustment, trying to tighten up Bill Elliott just a little bit, and it will be a 4-tire stop for last week's winner at Homestead and the hometown boy.
And I see that Ray Evernham has helmets on his pit crew. Attaboy, Ray.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is still the leader. Here comes Rusty Wallace onto pit road. Kevin LePage, Kevin Harvick, Mike Wallace, Stacy Compton, all in for service. Dave?
Rusty Wallace is in. He was a little tight. They made a track bar adjustment before, remember, and it was too severe. So it doesn't look like they're going to change it much right now. They are going to put on 4 tires and fill it full of fuel. Matt?
Dale Jarrett's car is stalled after a stop. His crew is trying to push him start. They all have helmets on, either hockey helmets from Nike or Simpson race helmets. His car still will not fire. His car was tight. They made a track bar adjustment. A lot of loss of time here on pit road for Dale Jarrett to Dave Burns.
Matt Kenseth having a good run as well, Matt. This time he was a little bit tight. Said they were going to make a wedge adjustment and also take some air pressure out of the right front tire to help Matt get around this track. He's gone.
Leaders in. Marty?
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. will come down pit road. He was very happy with the car on that last run, just a little bit tight. So what they're going to do on this stop is take a ½ pound out of the right front tire. Remember, he also is in a big points battle, trying to get 6th place. He wants to finish in the top 5. He's 32 behind Rusty Wallace for 6th in the points. A good stop going so far. They'll pull the tearaway away. A little smoke from the brake dust off of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. They drop the left side. He's on the track.
Very good pit stop. 14.5 seconds. Filling the car up with fuel.
Kyle Petty's the leader. Not yet made a pit stop. Looks like Buckshot Jones also has not yet stopped. And then it's going to cycle back around to Tony Stewart. Got his wish. No caution from the time he stopped to when everybody else had to come in. Well, the Grinch isn't going to like this. Jimmy Spencer, stop and go penalty, speeding on pit road. Here comes Kyle Petty now off the track onto pit road. There's the Grinch on board Spencer's car.
And obviously, Spencer was speeding as he was leaving pit road and not coming in. They penalize you while you're sitting in your pit if you penalize coming in, but leaving, you got to come back in for the penalty. Kyle, right side are on. Crew goes around. Left side's 13, 14, 15. Okay, guys. 16.5, not bad.
That one lap Kyle Petty led was the first time he's led a Winston Cup race since June 2000 at Pocono. Been a tough road rebuilding Petty Enterprises. Buckshot Jones is also leaving pit road. So that cycles the lead around to Tony Stewart. 5 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon, then Ricky Craven, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Sterling Marlin. You'll have Bill Elliott 6th, Bobby Labonte 7th, Matt Kenseth 8th, Dave Blaney 9th, and Ward Burton 10th. So things working out there for Blaney, too. And also Mark Martin, who had done the not hit under the first caution. He's back on the lead lap in 15th place. Marty.
Well, Alan, so far things are working out for Dave Blaney, but he reported to his crew right after the pit stop they think they have a vibration. The vibration has not gone away, and they're pretty sure they left some lug nuts loose on one of the wheels. Also, look at his left front that they took off of the car. It is down to the cords right here, and that is usually a sign of running too much camber. Very aggressive camber setting. It makes your car fast, but it also wears out the left front tire.
You're talking about on the outside of the left front, Marty? Was that the outside or inside?
Benny, it is both the outside and the inside. There's a little bit on the outside, back over here in the back, but this would be the outside of the tire. There's a little bit on the inside as well.
Well, that's not camber. If it's wearing out outside and inside, that's just dragging that tire across the racetrack, and that's a problem we're going to see today.
Yeah, that normally, we thought we'd see a lot of wear on the inside because of the camber, like Benny said. A lot of guys want a camber left front that helps turn the car. It gives more grip in the front, but it also wears the tires out bad, just like what you've seen.
Blaney running in 11th, chasing Rusty Wallace here for 10th. Tony Stewart is the leader. Second time today he's been out in front of the NAPA 500. We're back to Atlanta in a minute. On NBC comes to you from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the NAPA 500, second to last race of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series season, and we are at lap 92 of 325. Tony Stewart is the leader. Here's our Coca-Cola Racing family update. Pretty good day for the gang so far. Bobby Labonte, what a move up through the field he's made. Into the top 10. Dale Jarrett started in the back. Jeff Burton started in the back. Kyle Petty led briefly there in the exchange of green flag pit stops. Second, third, and fourth. Gordon, Craven, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And they have fresher tires on than does Tony Stewart, so I would think that they'll be able to run him down. Ooh, Craven almost got the wall there. Last time by, they were a second and a half. This time, they're only 1 second behind the leader, Tony Stewart.
Really closing the gap fast on Stewart. Second half of this 2001 season for Ricky Craven's team has been terrific. A great improvement from what happened for them in the first half of the season. How come things got so much better in the late going, Ricky?
The second half, we've been able to finish the job. And in a lot of cases, the first half, we would run very fast for the Tide Ford, run top 5, top 10, but have something happen. And that was okay. I mean, it was painful at the time, but it was okay because the hardest part of this business is finding speed. And if you've got speed, then the rest of it will come if you're patient and you've got, good quality people, which we do. We just, this is a great group to race with.
Check this out. Mike Wallace is going to be in a sandwich in just a second. I thought Craven was going down on the outside. Jeff Gordon may be the guy in the sandwich.
Who's that down the bottom? Lance Hooper in the 47.
So Gordon loses second to Ricky Craven. He's about to lose third to Junior.
Mike Wallace is in 27th place. He's the first car 1 lap down. Bill, how about more on Ricky Craven?
Well, Alan, just to update his pit stop when he was in last time, the car's running very well. It was 4 tires and no fuel. Right now he's in that mess with Jeff Gordon, and Gordon telling his crew that he's just being patient here, making sure again, as we talked about earlier, that his car is around at the finish. Craven and Gordon, of course, very good friends. Gordon's car good, Craven is also, so watch both of them.
Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Man, look at all these guys.
I thought they were going to come off 4 wide for the lead there with some of these lap cars a minute ago.
They're 3 wide. 2 of them, 3 wide. Mike Wallace sticking his nose between Andretti and Junior. Oh, man.
Whoa, John Andretti. When Craven snuck up behind him, a little arrow loose.
Looks like Ricky might have chosen the wrong line as Junior goes by for the 2nd spot.
Looking down on this great action from our U.S. Army Skycam, courtesy of the United States Army, an Army of 1. Dale Jr. to 2nd. Ricky Craven squeezing Jeff Gordon in behind the yellow car. That's Hermie Sadler going a lap down.
Yeah, Jeff, like you said, he's been real smart, real safe right now. He's not going to force the issue.
Stacy Compton there in the 92, the yellow and white car. Talked to those guys this morning. They were very, very happy with their race car. Thought they might have a chance to win today. Right now, trying to struggle to stay in the lead lap.
Yeah, he's just become the first car 1 lap down. He's in 25th place.
There goes Mark a lap down.
Dave, ever since he got that fender wrinkled up early, it's just not been the same race car.
Gone downhill from there, Alan. Remember, they stopped on lap 61. The car was very loose, and they made a wedge adjustment and changed 4 tires, but he's still loose. I just checked with Jack Rouch, team owner, and he's still loose.
Boy, this is terrific action. Stewart going to bust out down low. Trying to get around the Bobby Hamilton. Oh, contact! The leader's into the side of him. At 190 miles an hour.
That got his attention, didn't it?
Got mine.
Got Alan's attention. Oh, Junior, was there room down there? He made room on the inside of Mike Wallace.
By the way, that put Bobby Hamilton a lap down. He's back in 24th place. Marty, how about our leader?
Well, Stewart just came on the radio. He said, we got hit really hard on the right side. I don't know what happened there or why it happened. The spotter looked at the car. He said, it's clean. You have no tire rub. Forget about it.
Well, as long as it was tire to tire, he'll be okay. But if he bent that right front fender in, then that's going to be an issue.
Would that have shown up already, though, the handling? Wouldn't that have shown up in his lap times just already? If he bent it?
Probably going to show up more when he's got more laps on the tires.
It's bent.
Yeah.
Definitely bent.
So that could be an adventure as we wear on here. Keep an eye on that for Tony Stewart. Here comes Dale Jr. trying to put away the lap car of Mike Wallace.
And Mike in that 12 car desperately trying to stay in front of these guys. See, Junior's running high in 1 and 2, and on the bottom in 3 and 4.
But that's one of the great things about this racetrack, Benny, as you talked about in our opening comments, the fact that the layout, the shape, and the pavement allows you to use it all.
And, you know, I think that's exactly, this is the kind of racing we're going to see at the new Kansas and Chicagoland speedways in a year or two. When that pavement starts getting worn, I think this is exactly what we're going to see.
Didn't see this here in '97 when this track was first made out this shape and had fresh pavement. It took a couple of years.
It was exactly like Kansas and Chicagoland.
Tony Stewart is leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. by about 3 car lengths in the NAPA 500 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. For the second time after caution. In the NAPA 500 for the second time after a blown engine in Lance Hooper's car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. took the lead from Tony Stewart just before the yellow flag, and now he brings the field onto pit road. Dave Burns.
Sterling Marlin comes in now. His crew not wearing helmets today. A little bit loose on the 40 car for Sterling. They will make a track bar adjustment, fill and full of fuel and 4 tires. Bill?
It's a wedge adjustment on Jeff Gordon's car. One round, just a little bit tight. It's 4 tires and fuel. Make sure you get the windshield clean. He said a lot of bugs, Marty.
Tony Stewart is here, Bill. The tire, the fender damage is not a concern. There will be 4 tires and no adjustments for Stewart. And a very fast stop for these guys as a collision on pit road between Ricky Craven and Jeff Gordon, sending Gordon into the grass.
Matt Yoakum.
Service already completed for Bobby Labonte. No chassis adjustments. They just went down on air pressure in all 4 tires. He said this set of tires felt a little more loose than the last set.
Bobby's been terrific in this race so far, and that 18 car started back in 39th spot. He's in the top 10.
He has a very, very good race car. And, you know, every time Jeff Gordon, it looks like, is running well, he has a collision on pit road.
Yep. Did he do any damage to the fenders?
That's a very good question.
I don't think so. I think he hit him far enough back where I don't think he got the front fender.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened.
Now just imagine a wall being there. If there would have been a problem, instead of being able to go in the grass like he does here, if there was a wall, that would have been real ugly.
I don't think they even touched, as a matter of fact. But you're right. Last week at Miami Homestead, he couldn't have dodged that on the grass. They would certainly collide.
And this is the same situation that happened last week with 3 cars coming out of the pits, except they had no place to go. They made contact, and it shot Ward Burton's back to the left.
Right.
This time, they all had room to move to the right. So a close call for the would-be champion on the pit lane. He's running 4th now, under caution, in the NAPA 500 at Atlanta. Underway in the NAPA 500 at Atlanta. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won the race off pit road. He leads Tony Stewart, Ricky Craven, Jeff Gordon, and Sterling Marlin. Let's mention that coming to that last yellow flag, Mike Wallace got a lap back. He's on the lead lap.
But the 92 car, Stacey Thompson, did not. Battle for the lead. Junior does not want to give it up. Marty, what's Tony Ure and the guys in Dale Jr.'s pit saying?
Well, they're very happy, Benny, and they nearly got in here while at 13-1 on that stop, which is an outstanding stop, and that's pretty close to getting some money from you. He was a little tight on that last run as Tony Stewart dives underneath him on the racetrack, trying to get the lead. A little tight on that last run. This set of tires should be just a little bit looser.
Nobody wants to give.
Tony Stewart, he said, every time I try to pass someone or try to pass someone or someone tries to pass me, they always run side by side. Remember last week in Miami when he and Kevin Hart ran side by side like this for 3 or 4 laps.
And Ricky Craven is real important in this situation right now, because if he moves up a little bit closer behind the next guy, he's either going to get him loose in the corner or he'll help draft the guy back down the straightaway.
Looks like Junior hung on.
And here comes Craven, going to try the inside on Stewart. 2nd place. Slide job him, move up and shut that lane off.
That's it, baby. You the man.
That looks pretty stuffed, BP.
Guys, don't look behind you, but that green car back there, Bobby Labonte, he's flying.
He really is fast. And look where he's running, right on the bottom of the racetrack, right down next to that white line.
He's passed Sterling Marlin for 5th since the restart. And remember, Bobby took a provisional to get into the race. He started in 39th place. Since the racetrack was reshaped this way in the middle of the 1997 season, hasn't anybody been better here than Bobby Labonte. Jeff Gordon running in 4th. Bill saw that close call on pit road. What are they saying?
It was just that, just a close call. In fact, Ricky Craven even radioed back to his crew to tell Jeff, I really appreciate that he did that. There was no contact between the two. Now, before they went back to green, Jeff Gordon said, I'm having fun. Robbie Loomis said, that's the way it should be. Funny, because Craven radioed the exact same thing back to his crew. You can't have any more fun than this. So there's 2 guys out there with good cars. Craven chasing perhaps a 2nd win. Gordon looking for a win and a 4th championship.
Boy, and it is. When you've got a good car, these guys have great cars. They're handling, they're running high, running low. It is a lot of fun. If you're not handling here, it's no fun.
pretty fun to watch these guys with these good handling cars.
Yes, it is. Here comes Bobby Labonte. Close up right on the back bumper of Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon's having all kind of trouble trying to get by John Andretti.
He had a hard time last week. Wasn't it Homestead he had a hard time getting past the 43 car?
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, trouble. One blowing up. Dave Blaney.
Caution up for blow motor off of turn 2.
That vibration he said he felt a while back might not have been loose lug nuts. All right, Stacy Compton trying getting a lap back. Jimmy Spencer and John Andretti all back on the lead lap. Let me check that. Spencer was getting one of two laps he lost back.
Man, it's too bad. Blaney has run so well here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Both races.
This was back in March. Led 70 laps, left some lug nuts loose on a pit stop. And by the time he limped that thing back around to pit road and got it all fixed and repaired, he was laps behind and wound up finishing well down in the pack. Then today, Blaney's out in front for 16 laps early in the race. That's not a good sign.
Evidently, the car was running. Evidently, it's from the oil line off. Marty, what are they saying?
They don't know, Benny, and they're looking right now. They think it might be an oil line, but there's no oil up on the hood, so they're kind of looking around to see what it is. It smells of oil down here on the pit road, but maybe that was the vibration he felt earlier, something going bad in the engine and giving him an early indication it would be a problem later on.
Well, they're sending the cleanup trucks out onto the track to cover oil, so he's put something down in that problem. We're under caution here in Atlanta. Coming to the green flag in the NAPA 500, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader. The top 13 did not pit under this caution flag. The leaders marked with our race chase bubbles. The cars not so marked like Ricky Rudd. A lap down, trying to get one back from Dale Jr.
And look at Ricky Rudd go. But here comes Junior back. He gets that great run off the second corner.
Look at the cloud of dust as they run through all that oil dry.
Oh, Jimmy. Spencer in that 26 car got down in the corner and started up the hill, and it seemed like Tony Stewart sensed that he was there and moved up to give him some room.
First car in line that did pit is Todd Bodine. Let's talk about the fact that everybody pitted at one. Oh, Dale Jr., the leader. Slipping. Craven is out in front. Did he catch the wall, or was that just the camera catching the stop as it moved all the way around?
Sounds like he's still going okay. Looks like he's going okay.
Going too fast there to get a good look at it. How about when you restart on a track that's had all that oil dry put down on it? Well, they brought the blowers out. They blew as much of it off the surface as they could.
Yeah, you can only do so good with those jet dryers. And I'm certain that those cars down on the bottom that had to go through that speedy dry were slipping a bit.
Marty?
Oil dry is exactly what happened to Dale Earnhardt Jr. He hit a little bit, and being the first car in there, he's going to hit it first, obviously, and that's what happened to him. They brushed the wall a little bit, but Tony Eury Sr. said it's no cause for concern.
Doesn't seem to be. He went back by Jeff Gordon. So Dale Jr. running in third. Ricky Craven starting to feel some pressure, too. Look at all that lap traffic mixed in there. Here's Tony Stewart, going to bid for the lead on Ricky Craven.
Bill Weber said a little bit earlier that Ricky Craven was overheating a little bit. So when they came in for that pit stop, they took a little bit of tape off the grill. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ricky might be handling not as well as before he got that tape off. If you take that tape off, the car may push a little bit more.
And that's exactly what it's doing. Wally actually called. He's already told his crew the car's not nearly as good as it was, despite taking off that small piece of tape to try and cool things off.
So he's got less downforce on the nose right now, but they needed to do that to get the air to the engine to cool it down.
In front of, well, here we go for the lead.
Junior has fought his way back. He's taken second away from Craven, and now he takes the lead away from Tony Stewart.
Okay, his car's fine. In front of the leader, the 21 of Elliott Sadler is trying to stay on the lead lap. He's in 26th place. And that yellow car, the 77 of Robert Presley, is also tail end of the lead lap in 25th. And Dave Blaney has just come back out on the speedway, 12 laps down. 41st place, a hole in an oil line. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte mixed in some lap cars. Here comes Rusty Wallace. He's fighting for 8th with Todd Bodine. Dave Burns?
I'll tell you what's bugging Rusty Wallace right now, guys. There have been a whole lot of gnats down here this week, and the warm temperatures have really brought out these little bugs. And Rusty's car right now has tear-offs, what they call, on the windshield to clean the windshield when he comes in. But crew chief Robin Pemberton tells me these little bugs are so plentiful out here, they're going through the tear-offs. So when they try to conserve tear-offs and spray to clean the window, the spray cleaner, the chemicals get underneath each tear-off and really make a mess. So right now these guys are not only trying to contend with the fast speeds here, but the bugs because of the warm temperatures here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. By the way, thanks for my John Howland, my bug model here. As we get a lead change, he's a DeWalt Motorsports manager.
Well, hasn't changed yet, but they're racing hard for it.
Here comes Mark Martin, another car that's trying to get a lap back.
Mark, 27th place. Remember, he started on the front row, but got tagged by Dale Earnhardt Jr. earlier. It seemed to knock the handling on his car a little bit askew. Obviously, they've gotten that straightened back out because he's running very well right now. I started to bring the discussion forward before about the decision not to pit under this caution for most of these front runners. 13 cars stayed out at lap 121. At lap 109, they had pitted last. So not that many laps, right? Only 11 laps or so.
Well,
of green flag racing.
Of green flag racing. They may, who knows, they may live to regret it, just like it looks like that it may cost Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, and Dave Blaney further on. Caution flag came out and saved them. They're playing it the way that there's no set way to do this, and they're just playing it the way that the car, they're playing the hand that's dealt to them and see what happens.
Well, the cars are handling good enough. These guys are obviously all real happy with their chassis, so they feel like that they can run a long time and handle well. Why come in and stop? I mean, it's like you said, Alan, it's only 10 or 11 laps. So they may be safe with that. Plus, the other guys got to go through traffic.
Remember earlier?
I was going to say that. I was watching it. I said, well, let's see if Mark puts his nose on the rear bumper of Dale Earnhardt's car and see if it gets him loose.
He got close. But he got so close that all of a sudden he's falling back. How about that?
Jeff Gordon about to lose a spot. He's currently in the 4th position. Bobby Labonte is 5th. And Labonte's been run right on the bottom of the racetrack all race long and been very fast.
Rusty Wallace running in 9th place right now. Started back in 27th. Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, a good run for Rusty Wallace from 27th to 9th so far, and 2 unusual things. You heard Dave talk about the bug story. Another thing that's a little unusual for Rusty is that he's running a high line. He saw some of the guys go past him. They were using the high line, so he jumped up there. His car comes in after about 20 laps or so, and then it really becomes a rocket. They tighten it up on the first pit stop, and Rusty knows this track is a challenge to get around throughout the day.
The track generally always gets tighter and tighter as the day goes on. I've never seen the track loosen up ever in my life. It'll always start off probably as loose as it's going to be when it starts, and then the track just keeps tightening up and tightening up, and you find yourself working really hard to try to loosen it up. So you got to have enough adjustability in the car that you can go that direction when the sun starts coming down.
So Rusty Wallace hopes that it's his car that adjusts to the track better than anyone else. Good run for the two, Alan.
There's your mention there at the top of the show, BP. That 25 car, I talked to Tony Furr, the crew chief of that car this morning, and he was awfully confident they had a good race car for here.
And there he is trying to take the spot away. That's 9th spot from Rusty Wallace. But that is always a concern. The racetrack will change once or twice during a 500-mile race. You start, and the car's pushing, it's tight or whatever, you adjust for it, but usually the cars start very, very loose. And before the end of the race is over, the track has tightened up a great deal, like Rusty was saying.
So Rusty trying to defend the 9th spot from Jerry Nadeau. Nadeau started back in 41st place in that 25 car. He is the defending winner of this NAPA 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front for the 5th different time today. He started on the pole. He's led the most laps as we close in on halfway. Wally, you had to fly cross country from Colorado to get here yesterday from your brother's wedding. Jeff, full throttle in the old CD player?
I don't have a CD player.
That's right. You're not up on that technical stuff.
I don't know how to work that.
Well, I do. And I have. It's good stuff.
No banjos.
Okay.
Benny, we will find you a CD with banjos, I promise.
Okay, good.
Full throttle available in stores and at shopnbc.com. Your lead is closing in. Ricky Craven creeping up on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
You know, Ricky Craven talked about his car not being as good because of the tape, but after they've run a few laps, he's right now definitely the class for these two cars.
You know, I read in the manufacturers publicists all put out notes about the chassis that each team is using in the race today. And the Ford publicist said that this is the chassis Ricky Craven won at Martinsville with. Here in Atlanta, slowest track on the circuit, fastest track on the circuit. Go figure.
Makes no sense. If it is, it's working.
Yes, it is. A good car. That's what it tells me. How's Jeff Gordon doing?
Jeff Gordon is struggling right now. There he is, back in 9th position. But don't be alarmed, Jeff Gordon fans, because Ricky Rudd, the 28 car, is back in 29th. He's a lap down to Jeff Gordon.
Just coming up on halfway in this race, so things are looking good for Gordon to finally cart that Winston Cup Championship trophy off this afternoon.
Check out our telemetry with Jeff Gordon. He goes down to 152 miles per hour down in turn 1. He will accelerate up to around 190 in turn 3, exactly 190.
How about that?
Should be a little bit faster down in turn 1, probably 191, 192, because the straightaway has a better exit and entry. It's a little bit longer. Just 191.
Boy, you can really see that sun glare going into turn 1, too, as we ride there with Jeff.
Heck, we aren't halfway yet.
Yeah, if they're having problems with bugs out there, it's going to get a lot worse here in the next hour.
So this is Jeff Gordon and how things are going for him as he's fallen back to 9th. Let's compare him to the leader now and go on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
A lot of bugs. Check out our telemetry on board with Junior. What do we see? 191 on Jeff Gordon on the front straightaway. I think we're going to see more than that with Junior's car. 192, 1 mile per hour. Down the backstretch, we saw 190 on Jeff Gordon's car. Junior's car, 190. So you see, folks, the difference between 1st and 9th is just not a lot.
But 191 miles an hour entering turn 1 at a 1.5 mile track. With the engine restrictions used at Daytona and Talladega, this is NASCAR's fastest track. and it's a mile shorter than Daytona.
But they have the full 800 horsepower here.
And you get the sensation of speed, I think, more here. When you go barreling down off that corner 100 miles an hour here in Atlanta, it feels like you're going that fast.
I'll bet. I tell you what, Junior's really using that high line going in the corner, while usually they let it drift up a little bit. He's using all that gray stuff entering turn one. Tells me his car's a little tight, and he's using the racetrack trying to get it to turn.
Yeah, I think both these cars look like they're a little bit tight, and I don't think Ricky can close on the 8 because when he gets close to the back of the 8 car, his car has a hard time turning. He can't turn the car, so that's why he's kind of back a little bit to get some air down on that nose. Bill, can you shed some light on the subject?
Yeah, he's driving with one hand. That's a little bit of his problem in the 32 car. Ricky Craven's car is hopping out of gear. It has done it at least twice, once under caution, once under race conditions. He radioed in that he's having a problem keeping it in gear, and he just radioed back in that the engine is not going to take much more of that, and I can't drive all day with one hand on the wheel and one hand holding the car in gear. So that's one of his problems, and Wally, you know what he wants when he does come back in, other than getting that fixed?
A bungee cord.
Well, he'd like some tape back on the grill, too. That tape they took off that was giving him a problem and causing his car to be ill handling after that last pit stop. But that car jumping out of gear is his #1 concern right now.
Yeah, so they probably will put a little tape, like Bill said. He's going to need that on the front to help get some more downforce on the front, but they're also going to have to rig up some kind of a bungee cord and hook it to the back of the seat or something. So when you put it in 4th gear, you take that bungee cord and hook it on the stick shift, and that will keep the shifter back in gear.
Little peek for the lead, not yet.
I think that a crewman will have to jump inside the 32 car to use to install that bungee cord that Wally was talking about.
They've got the side window here, don't they?
Yeah, they do have
So
side window.
I think Ricky's going to have to wind up doing that, or they're going unless they do it under a yellow BP, Ricky's going to have to figure something to hook that thing to.
We are about 8 or 9 laps away from pit stops for these leaders. So let's take a commercial break here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ricky Craven are the top 2. Jeff Gordon running in 9th spot, trying to lock up the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. The condominiums outside turn 4 of the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the NAPA 500 is ongoing for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.